Welcome back to Character Construction, where we figure out how to play as your favorite fictional characters in Dungeons & Dragons. Today's build, I went with none other than Scorpion. Goals for this build are as follows. First, we gotta build a copy of the chain, then is teleportation, finally we gotta be able to manipulate Hellfire. Stats for this build are as follows. Strength comes in at 10, Dexterity at 15, Constitution comes in at 14, Intelligence is at 8, Wisdom is a 12, and finally, Charisma is a 13. Our race of choice is the Variant Human. Being a Variant Human grants us +1 to 2 ability scores. We're going to go with Dexterity and Charisma. Next up, we gain the Elemental Adept feat, which allows you to treat 1s on the damage dice as 2s, and also allows you to ignore resistance to fire damage as our element of choice. And finally, our skill of choice is Sleight of Hand. Our background of choice is none other than the Soldier background. Being a soldier grants you proficiency in athletics and intimidation, also grants you proficiency in land vehicles and a gaming set of your choice. Finally, we gain the military rank feature, which allows you to invoke your military rank to grant access to special armories, equipment. Finally, command over an army. We're going to take our first level in Monk. First level Monks gain unarmored defense, allowing you to use your Dexterity and Wisdom modifier to determine your AC bonus. Next up, we gain Martial Arts, which allow you to use your Dexterity for your attack and damage rolls. Finally, you can replace the damage dice with Monk Weapon or Unarmed Strikes for the D4. And as a bonus action, you can make an Unarmed Strike after hitting with a melee attack using your attack action. Being a Monk grants us proficiency in Stealth and Acrobatics. And finally, saving throws in Strength and Dexterity saving throws. On to level 2, we're going to take our second level in Monk. Second level Monks gain Unarmored Movement, increase your overall movement speed by 10 feet as long as you're not wearing armor or carrying a shield. Next up, we gain Patient Defense, which allows you to take the dodge action as a bonus action. Next up, we get Flurry of Blows. After you make a melee attack, you can spend 1 key point to make 2 unarmed attacks instead of 1. Next up, we gain the Step of the Wind feature, which allows you to take the dash or disengage action as a bonus action. Finally, we gain the Dedicated Weapon option. You can touch any weapon and make it a Monk weapon as long as it doesn't have the two-handed or the special feature. Level 3, we're going to take our third level in Monk. Third level Monks gain Deflect Missiles. As a reaction where you're hit by a ranged weapon attack, you roll d10 plus your Dexterity modifier as well as your Monk level to reduce the amount of damage taken, and if it reduces to 0, you can spend a key point to make a reaction attack if it's a Monk weapon. Next up, we're going with Ways of Shadow Monk, Monastic Edition, which grants us Shadow Arts, which allows you to spend 2 key points to cast any of the following spells: Darkness and Dark Vision, which grants you Dark Vision up to 60 feet for 8 hours. Next up, we go with Pass Without Trace, which grants you +10 to your stealth. Finally, we get Silence and the Minor Illusion cantrip. Level 4, we're going to take our fourth level in Monk. Fourth level Monks gain ability score improvement. We're going to put 2 points of our Dexterity. And finally, we gain Slow Fall, which allows you to reduce the amount of falling damage you take equal to 5 times your Monk level. Level 5, we're going to take our 5th level in Monk. 5th level Monks gain Extra Attack. When you make the attack action, you make 2 attacks instead of 1. Next up, you gain Stunning Strike. After you hit with a melee attack, you can spend 1 key point to make the opponent roll a Constitution saving throw or be stunned until the end of your next turn. Finally, we gain Martial Arts increase from a D4 all the way to a D6. At level 6, we're going to take our 6th and final level in Monk. We gain Key Powered Strikes. Your unarmed strikes are considered magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks. Next up, we gain Shadow Step. As a bonus action, you can teleport anywhere up to 60 feet as long as you're in dim light and darkness, and you have an advantage on the first melee attack you make before the end of your turn. Finally, you gain unarmored movement increase to 15 feet. Level 7, we're going to take our first level in Warlock. First level Warlocks gain a Patron. We're going to go with the Fiend. This allows us to cast all our fire spells, minus Hellish Rebuke, which is already a Warlock spell. Next up, we gain Dark One's Luck as part of having the Fiend as our patron. When you reduce a hostile creature's 0 hit points, you gain temporary hit points equal to your Charisma modifier, plus your Warlock level. First level Warlocks gain Pact Magic, meaning you have very limited spell slots, but as you increase in level, they are cast at the highest potential possible. First up, we gain the Eldritch Blast cantrip, which allows you to make a ranged spell attack, and if you hit, you do 1d10 force damage. This is my way of replicating Scorpion's Spear, as honestly, I have no idea where it comes from half the time. Next up, we gain the Blade War cantrip. As an action, you give yourself resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage from weapon attacks until the end of your next turn. And for our spell of choice, we're going to go with Burning Hands from the Fiend patron. Each creature in a 15-foot cone must make a dexterity saving throw or take 3d6 fire damage. Next up, we gain Hellish Rebuke spell. As a reaction, when you take damage from a creature you can see within 60 feet of you, you can force them to make a dexterity saving throw or take 2d10 fire damage. Level 8, we're going to take our second level in Warlock. We gain the Protection from Evil and Good spell. This grants you protection from certain creatures, meaning they have disadvantage on attack rolls against you, and you cannot be charmed, frightened, or possessed by them. Next up, we gain 2 invocations. We're going to go with Grasp of Hadar. This allows them to get over here. When you hit a creature with the Eldritch Blast, you pull them 10 feet closer to you. Next up, we gain Lance of Lethargy. When you hit a creature with the Eldritch Blast once per turn, you reduce the movement speed by 10 feet. Level 9, we're going to take our third level in Warlock. This grants us the ability to cast second level spells, and all spells that are cast are considered second level. So our spell of choice is none other than Scorching Ray, allowing you to make 3 ranged fire attacks as if they were spell attacks, and each ray does 2d6 fire damage on a hit. And we gain a Pact. Our Pact is none other than Pact of the Blade. You summon a weapon of your choice, and is considered magical for the purpose of overcoming damage resistance and immunity to non-magical attacks. Level 10, we're going to take our fourth level in Warlock. This grants us the ability score improvement, so we're going to cap off our dexterity from 18 to 20. Next up, we gain the Misty Step spell. As a bonus action, you can teleport anywhere you can see up to 30 feet. And we gain the Great Bonfire cantrip. You create a bonfire in a 5-foot square, and any creature that is in the bonfire space must make a dexterity saving throw or take 1d8 fire damage. Right, level 11. We gain the ability to cast third level spells as we are now a 5th level Warlock. 5th level Warlocks also gain the ability to cast all spells as 3rd level thanks to Pact Magic. So our spell of choice is none other than Fireball. Each creature in the 20-foot sphere must make a dex save or take 8d8 fire damage. Next up, we get another invocation. We're going to go with Agonizing Blast, which allows you to add your Charisma modifier to any damage roll you make with an Eldritch Blast. Moving on to level 12, we're going to take our next level in Warlock. This grants us Dark One's Luck. Once per short or long rest, we can add a d10 to our ability check or saving throw before seeing the outcome of the result, but after the initial roll has been made. Next up, we gain Summon Lesser Demons. As an action with a range of 60 feet, you summon lesser demons randomly determined by a d6 and your DM, and they attack the nearest non-demon creature as it is hostile towards all creatures. Alright, level 13, we're going to take the next level in Warlock, allowing us to cast all spells as 4th level and cast 4th level spells. Our spell of choice is Wall of Fire. With concentration up to 1 minute, we can make a wall or ring of fire, and each creature that starts its turn, ends its turn, or moves into the wall of fire must make a dex save or take 5d8 fire damage. Next up, we gain the Eldritch Might Invocation. Once per turn, when you hit with your packed weapon, you can spend a spell slot to do 1d8 damage per spell level that you have, and you can knock the creature prone if it is huge or smaller. At level 14, we're going to take another level in Warlock. 8th level Warlocks gain the ability score improvement. We're going to put 2 points of our Charisma, making our Charisma from 14 to 16, increasing our spell save DC and our spell attack roll increases. And next up, we gain Dimension Door, which allows us to teleport anywhere within 500 feet that we can recall. Level 15, we're going to take our 9th level in Warlock. 9th level Warlocks gain the ability to cast 5th level spells, and all spells cast are considered 5th level, which is why we went with none other than Flame Strike. Any creature in the 10-foot radius must make a dexterity saving throw or take 46 fire damage and 46 radiant damage. Next up, we gain the Trickster's Escape Invocation, which allows you to cast Freedom Movement on yourself for free without a spell slot, but you must recover it on a long rest, and you can only cast it among yourself. Alright, level 16, we're going to take our 10th level in Warlock. We gain Fiendish Resilience from our patron, which once for short or long rest, grants you resistance to 1 damage type. However, depending on the damage type, magical or super weapons can bypass it. Next up, we gain the Banishment spell, which forces one creature to make a Charisma saving throw or be banished for up to 1 minute. Next up, we gain the Booming Blade cantrip. If you hit with a melee attack, the creature takes 1d8 thunder damage if it moves on its next turn. Level 17, we're going to take our 11th level in Warlock, which grants us a Mystic Arcanum. Our Mystic Arcanum is none other than Investiture of Flame, which makes you immune to fire damage and resistant to cold damage, and any creature that moves within 5 feet for the first time on a turn or ends its turn takes 1d10 fire damage. Finally, use your action to create a 15-foot long, 5-foot wide flame, and each creature in the line must make a dexterity saving throw or take 48 fire damage. Level 18, we're going to take our 12th level in Warlock, which grants us an ability score improvement, which is going to bump our charisma to 18. Next up, we gain the Life Trigger Invocation. Anytime we hit with our packed weapon, the creature takes an extra necrotic damage equal to our charisma modifier. Moving on to level 19, we're going to take another level in Warlock, which grants us another Mystic Arcanum. We're going to go with the Plane Shift spell. You and up to 8 million creatures who link hands can transport to a different plane of existence. At level 20, we're going to take our 14th and final level in Warlock. This grants us the Hurl Through Hell feature. With hit creature attack, you send them to hell, and at the end of your next turn, they come back and you take 10d10 psychic damage. Now let's talk about the pros of this build. First up, we have a lot of movement options. Teleportation, fast movement. You can move around the battlefield however you want. Next up, we have a lot of combat options. You can be the melee fighter, ranged, or the spellcaster. Finally, you deal consistent damage. Some cons for this build are as follows. First up, you have Warlock spells, meaning you have very limited spell slots but very powerful, not helpful in a long fight. Next up, we have a lot of save or suck spells. Finally, we have a very low AC. If you decide to put on light armor, your AC will still only be 17. Thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the video and you share it with your friends.